Hey, how we doing on this Saturday morning? This is Frank Rock. This is the House of Orange Sports Channel. It is game day, Tennessee Vanderbilt, with basically the season on the line for Tennessee today. It is must win to get into playoffs. Win, you're in. Lose, you're out. That's the bottom line on it. But the other big topic of the week for Tennessee has been recruiting and David Sanders Jr. He took a visit last weekend to Ohio State, caused a little concern, at least in the fan base of Tennessee. Tennessee's mods all week they've kind of, I wouldn't say downplayed it. Anytime you're taking a visit at this point, there's reason for concern, but they've not just full-fledged said that he's gone either. There's been rumors all week that Sanders may visit for the Ohio State-Michigan game today. Well, late last night, in the midst of this insane Georgia Tech game, Austin Price, FallQuest.com, Ryan Callahan, 247sports.com had both released messages saying that based on their sources, David Sanders Jr. will not be taking any visits today. That's got to be good news for Tennessee at this point. I think this weekend was going to tell the story on it. If he visits Ohio State, and it's not over, it still could pop up that he visits Ohio State. But they said based on everything that they have heard, he will not be visiting Ohio State today. And to me, that's a great sign for Tennessee, especially with early signing period starting on Wednesday. Tennessee, can they weather the storm? It looks like there's a really good possibility of that at this point, barring that he does not show up at Ohio State today. I mean, I wouldn't think he would take an early week visit, but, I mean, stranger things have happened at this point. All eyes will be on Wednesday to see. I don't really see any reason he'd have to go through a big ceremony again or anything like that if he's sticking with Tennessee. He did that back in August. So, what's the reason for it? I mean, I think we could put two and two together on this one based on everything that's been said. It's not about medical school. Medical school was a thing 3 months ago when he committed. It is what we think it is. All right. It is what we think it is. And, I've seen so much crap out there. I've seen a guy that tries to play insider on one of the UT sites saying that he's in the fold and it was a case of they're trying to get him money up front. Well, here's the bottom line. That is illegal. You can't. Faison Brandon, Tennessee's quarterback commit for 2026, I think, is trying to get something passed where you can get paid up front on it. There are states you can get paid up front. North Carolina is not one of them, though. So anybody saying that, unless something's changed and I'm wrong, and I'm pretty sure I'm not wrong on this one, is you cannot pay these guys up front. Maybe there's some distribution thing that they can do. There are agents involved now with their money and all these things. They're going to try to get the best. It's just like, it's basically semi-pro ball at this point, especially when you get in these recruitments of these higher profile commits. And, the highest bidder doesn't necessarily always win out. I don't know who the highest bidder is. I mean, from everything I've heard, Tennessee's offer was very good. And maybe Tennessee has the best offer. Is he crazy for wanting to look at Ohio State? Absolutely not. I mean, their football program is one of the best in the country. Their med school is top 10 in the country. What can you say bad about the place? I mean, we can sit here and say, yeah, we don't like Ohio State because of their numerous things. But as far as the school, their academic programs, yeah, I mean, who could blame the guy on that? But Tennessee's are good too. When it boils down to it, what team in America does not need offensive tackles? Tennessee needs them. Ohio State's going to need them. Distance from home is definitely different for Tennessee on this one. We'll see. Based on right now, Saturday morning, as I record this, it seems like Tennessee's going to be in good shape on it. The big story is going to be finding out. And, with Ohio State mods this week with their visit list, I have not seen Sanders listed. It's kind of, they're looking to see maybe what would happen there. But the big thing to me is I really kind of think or have thought what happens today is going to determine what he does. If he does, which they're saying he's not, but if he were to show up at Ohio State today, to me, that's not a good thing for Tennessee. If he stays home today, that's a good thing for Tennessee, and I think Tennessee will hold on to him in the end. It's the same with you look at some other recruits here. Isaiah Campbell, he had visited for the Alabama game. Of course, he had decommitted from Clemson here, a couple of months ago, visited for the Alabama game. Tennessee seemed to be in really good shape. He took a visit to North Carolina. Lots of reports saying North Carolina flipped the momentum. Tennessee got him back on campus. To me, that was a great sign of Tennessee's chances to hold on to him. And then this week when Mack Brown was fired at North Carolina, I think on Wednesday when the early signing period starts on December 4th, Tennessee's going to get good news from Isaiah Campbell. Now, the flip side of that is it's looking like they'll lose Darion Smith, defensive lineman out of Baltimore, to Auburn. So you're basically trading those two out. I think Tennessee comes out good on that one. As far as flip candidates from Tennessee's side of things, Onis Konobani is going to be one worth watching. He visited Florida last weekend. I'd seen one thing saying that they expected him to be at Texas A&M this weekend, but I've not seen anything else on that. So I don't know if he'll take any visits this weekend or not. That seems one Tennessee is probably going to have to sweat out. And that's a guy, I like his size. I like his potential. I hope he stays in this class. You know, your Georgia guys, Christian Gass, Travis Smith Jr., Shady Hayward, there have been talks about them along the way that Georgia wasn't going to give up on them. But I have not seen or heard anything that any of them visited Georgia either the last 2 weeks. And I think that's a really good sign that Tennessee's going to hold on to all those guys. And I think that's guys you want to hold on to. That's big-time prospects in this class. In fact, you're beating out Georgia for those guys. Says a lot about what this staff is doing. They're starting to win these big boy wars recruiting. And, it's a matter – that's how you're going to get to where you want to get to at Tennessee. You got to win these battles along the way. Now, as far as guys Tennessee are trying to flip, they flipped DeJuan Morris, running back who was committed to USC. He is from Murfreesboro. They flipped him back last weekend. That was a good pickup for Tennessee. Now you're looking at Timothy Merritt, defensive back out of Alabama, committed to Miami. You're looking at Jaden Perlotti, linebacker out of Georgia, committed to USC. Can Tennessee flip those guys? I've seen, differing reports along the way thinking they are in good shape with them. And now I've seen other reports saying, well, these teams may be able to hold on to them. Both of them have money. We know that. So if it comes down to NIL, how much is Tennessee willing to pay? How much is Miami and USC respectively willing to pay? NIL, it is what it is. And you can't, I don't know that you can really blame guys for taking visits because we see it every year, guys who are firmly committed, doing everything they're supposed to, and all of a sudden the team comes up and they can get a better prospect and they basically pull a dude's scholarship. As long as that continues to happen, these guys are going to continue to take visits, and there's really not much you can say on it because at any point in time, theirs could get pulled as well with it. I don't like the whole process. Honestly, I think if you give a guy, unless a guy goes out and does something really bad or something like that, if you give them a scholarship offer, they accept it at that point, I think you should honor it. I think once a guy commits, they should honor. I think they should do their due diligence and not just do it based off of, the high of a visit. But, it is what it is with it. That is one thing, I guess, about the Dabo philosophy. You get in the fold, you don't take visits. People can criticize it all he wants, but that is one thing. They don't seem to have the drama that other teams do. It is recruiting, and with everything going on, it doesn't change. You sign a guy, they may still try to get out of the letter. We saw it last year in basketball. Cam Scott out of out of Lexington had signed with Texas. I don't know the reasoning, but he got out of it, signed to stay at South Carolina. We've seen numerous other instances along the way too. But it is recruiting, and like I always say, the only thing that's sure in recruiting is the unsure. I'll be live today after the Tennessee Vanderbilt game. I hope to see you in there. It's must win. It's win or go home today. But yeah, Tennessee's going to play in a bowl regardless. But to me, it's win or go home. A Citrus Bowl or anything is irrelevant, and I don't care about it, frankly. Josh Heupel has to win today. Tennessee has to win today. There's no ifs, no ands, no buts about it. There's going to be no excuses if it doesn't happen today. It's going to be animation station. But I expect Tennessee, they know what's on the line. It's an early game. I expect them to take care of business today. I'll see you guys this afternoon. Frank Rock, House of Orange Sports Channel. Have a great rest of your day. last but most certainly not least, it is a great day to wear the orange and go Vols.